Okay, folks, welcome back. Last week we finished off the second realm and found another token to get our Amulet of Dreams to open the portal to the third realm. So once again, just like traveling to any room or any new screen, we simply pass through the portal. Here we go. Okay, so first things first, we're going to zoom in on this area down here, and we will be able to pick this object up, a sextant. And there's something else here stuck in the ground, but we're not able to do anything about it yet. But you can see it's got this kind of outline of what looks like a minotaur. And I'm just going to point this out here for a second. See, there's this whole back area back here, but we can't get to it because it's being blocked by a minotaur. So that object we saw down on the ground is going to come into play later on and have something to do with that. For now, though, we can zoom in here, and we will grab this dirty, what looks like a chef's hat. Dirty cap, it says. Okay. A couple other things that we can do here, but we're going to come back to that later. We're going to zoom in here. Here we can put the apples into the bucket. And now we can grab a plume, it's called, on top of a Roman soldier-looking helmet. Over here, we're going to zoom in on this area. This is kind of weird to describe. Basically, each of these colored trees over on this side connects with a vine over on the other tree. Now, I don't really know how else to explain this puzzle, but basically the bottom line is you just have to click on these trees in a specific order, and if you get the order wrong, then it resets the whole thing and you have to start over from the beginning. So without getting into the details of how you have to figure it out, basically you can also just figure it out through sheer attrition and force of trial and error. So basically the bottom line is the correct order to click on the trees is like this. For this one, then this, then this, then I think this one. Nope, that was wrong. This one, this, then this. Yeah, okay, then this, and then this. There you go. So simply by doing that, now we get the new item matches. Okay, let's move over to this area here. All right. First thing we're going to do is zoom in on this area over here. You can see there's a bridge once again leading to another area that we can't get to because the bridge is apparently not safe to walk on. The left side here is all slumping, but we're going to come here just for now to grab this little, it's called a box fragment. It looks like a Trivial Pursuit cheese wedge, but anyway, we'll pick that up, get out of there. Here's a new hidden object zone. Now this is the first one of these types of hidden object screens that actually function more like a traditional hidden object game, where you're literally just given a list of items to find, and you just click on them to find them. So let's do it. I'm just going to do them in order one by one. So the palette is right here. The jug is here. The gold is here. The pouch is here. The horseshoe is... Where the heck is the horseshoe again? Here. The broom is here. Crossbow is here. Pipe. There we go. Sunflower there. Onion here. Kettle. And the violin. Okie doke. With these types of screens too, you will find, I don't want to say 100% of the time, I can't be totally sure about that, but I believe pretty well almost all of the time is that, see here, we got the helmet here, I'm just going to get out of there. You can see after we finished there, I kicked this out, right? And you can always tell, again, I covered this in the first episode, but you can always tell that there's more hidden objects to find when it sparkles gold, like it was doing just before we explored that area. Now it's not sparkling. But this is the point that I'm getting at, is that almost, pretty well, all of the screens like that in that game, you can actually do that with twice. So you can see it stopped sparkling because we completed that first objective, but then at some point, when we return back to this area after we've completed other objectives, we'll find that it started sparkling a second time. And that's going to happen a lot throughout the game. So it's not sparkling right now, but we're going to do a few more things. We'll come back to it. It'll start sparkling again, and then we can find some more objects in that exact same scene. And the thing to note about that too is that it's always the same objects that you have to find every time per visit. I mean, the second time we visit, we'll have to find a different list of objects, but every time you play the game through, each set of objects will always be the same. The only thing that's different is the order of the list. For some reason, it randomizes how the items are listed in order. But the objects themselves, not only are they always the same objects, but they're always located in the exact same spot. That's why I was able to find them so quickly, because I already know where they are. Anyway, so we've completed that. Moving on. What we're going to do is actually we're going to, speaking of moving on, we're actually going to be moving back. We're going to come back to the screen. We're going to come back a screen again. Remember, you can go move back and forth between realms. So if you want to go back to a previous realm, it's just like going back to the previous room you were in, right? You just go close to the bottom of the screen so you get the back arrow, right, on either side here. Or actually along here, as long as you're not clicking in your inventory will work. And what we want to do here is first we're going to go over to this side here and then back into here. And you remember all the fun stuff that there was to do in this screen. There's still one more thing that we can do here. On here, I pointed this out last episode, how it looked like this looks like it might be bleach because there's this blue scarf that's getting turned white by being dipped into it. So what we're going to do is dip our dirty cap into that solution. And it's scrubbed it all nice and bright white and clean. All right, we're gonna go back again, back into the portal, back over here, and then zoom in down on this area here. There's this lizard looking guy who's apparently a cook. And now we can give him our cleaned cap, and he's so happy he gives us the ladle. All right, now we're gonna go back again and back out again. This time we're going out this way. Bunch of stuff we can do here. First, we're going to zoom in on the base of this headless statue, and that's where we're using our box fragment on this wheel here. That completes that color wheel, which opens it up, and now we can use our goblin friend to go inside the tiny hole and retrieve for us a chisel. And we have to apparently click on that one to take it from him. All right. Now, moving on into this screen here. A few final things that we can do while we're here. We're going to zoom in on here and use our ladle on the mud here. It's calling it resin. All right. Ladle of resin. And now we're going to zoom in on this. Again, last episode, I also wasn't sure what to make of this. Some sort of an ancient-looking artifact of some kind. I don't know what you want to call it. But what we can do here to solve this puzzle is the sextant that we acquired. We can place right here. And now, this is very easily overlooked. It took me a long time to figure out how to solve this. And I think, in the end, I actually solved it by accident. The reason it's very easily overlooked is because the art kind of blends into itself. If you pay very careful attention, you'll notice there's actually a lever right there. I don't know if you can pick that up, how well it translates visually, but myself, it took me the longest time to see that was even there. But of course, if you click on it, nothing even happens. So here, I bet the goblin will help me. So once again, we're going to get our goblin friend to climb up and pull the lever for us. And now that the sextant has been placed there, it does something funny. Alright, and as a result, we get a couple of objects here. First, we get the mystic symbols, and then we also get a chain. Alright, I think that's all that there is to do on this screen. We're done with that, so we're going to go back, and then back into here. And what we're going to do is zoom in down there with that weird shape with the Minotaur imprint out of it, and we can use our acquired chisel to chisel it out of the ground. And now we can collect that. Okay, back over this way, and look here. What did I tell you? This area here has been started sparkling again, so we can engage it here with the second time that we can find some objects. This time, instead of giving us a list of objects, it just collects 16 axes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12... 13, 14, 15, and where's that last one? The last one always... Oh, it's hanging right here, 16. Apparently that doesn't count as an axe. That's a mace, I guess. And we are given a metal brush. Excellent. Now, before we do the next thing we need to do, we actually need to travel back quite a ways. Back, And here we are now on the first screen of the second realm. There's one final thing that we can do here. No, actually, I lied. There's actually one other thing after this that we can do, but we're still not ready for that yet. We'll get to that later. But what we want to do is zoom in on the gold statue. You remember when we originally encountered this statue, it was holding a lens. So we took the lens from its hand, and then when it did that, the hand kind of fell down, sloped down, so then we were able to place the plate in its open hand. So now, to finish off this last little task here, we can use the metal brush that we just got and use it on it. So you can see the metal gold is kind of flaking off. So if we use it on the statue, we can brush off some gold flakes, some gold dust, and then we can collect the gold dust. All right, moving back forward again, back into the third realm, and then back out this way. Now we're going to explore this section up here. First, there is an object that we can pick up while we're here, a dragon scale. And now, you can see here there's some instructions here on how to create something. And we got to follow the instructions in the order that the clue kind of lines out for us. So what we can do is, I guess this is supposed to be like a burner plate. I guess there's like a Bunsen burner kind of thing underneath a stand here so we can sit stuff on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the clay mold, sit on top, then we use our ladle full of resin and put that into the mold. And now, lastly, we can take the gold dust that we just got and sprinkle that on top. And that creates for us this gold minotaur kind of coin, minotaur symbol. Now with that being collected, go back a screen, go up to this mechanical minotaur again, and you'll see it's got a coin slot in it. So we can literally use the minotaur symbol coin and stick it in there, and that will allow us access now to a new area back here. Now we zoom in on here, and oh, look at that. New character. Remember the end of last episode when we freed that Gandalf-looking guy? He told us that we should seek out his dragon friend in the crystal mines. Well, this is apparently him. So let's talk to him, see what's going on with him.
Greetings, human. Whoever you are, help me. I'm the Crystal Dragon, keeper of the underground world and master of crystals.
You sure
Crystals are the foundation of our world. Everything depends on them. We use them as a source of energy and trade with other worlds. But the ever-greedy Ashton decided he'd seize all of our treasures and trapped me in a crystal prison.
Where's irony?
Help me out, and I will help you travel to the next world. You must assemble the Spear of Crystal Purity in order to break this crystal prison Ashton has built.
Okie doke. And you can see in with him is trapped another coin that will, when added to the Amulet of Dreams, give us access to the next realm. So this is clearly the end objective of this entire realm. We free him, and that will allow us to get to the next level. Okay, so first thing, we're going to zoom in on this guy here. It's like a big stone-looking dragon face. There is something else we can do on the screen, but for now we just want to zoom in on it to grab a map fragment. Get out of here. We'll zoom in on here. And these mystic symbols that we got from that weird mechanism thing that we operated with the sextant, we can grab those and add that to this thing, whatever it is. And there's a couple things that we can collect in here now. Another map fragment, as well as another one of these, look, it says Aquarius, so it's another one of those zodiac symbols. We've got two now. This is an area that we can zoom in on, but we don't need to worry about that for right now. But we will zoom in on this guy here, chest with a big golden dragon on top, and you can see that there's a piece missing out of the side. So that's actually where the dragon scale comes in. We can add that to the dragon. That completes it, and look at that, opens up the box, and there is the third and final zodiac symbol. We got the Leo. All right, so let's get out of here, and now we can complete that final task that I was talking about at the beginning screen of Realm 2. So we'll go back again, back, and here now is actually this time the last thing that we can do. We zoom in on this area here. You can see the Saturn symbol in the middle with all of the zodiac symbols around the edge except 3 that are missing. So we add to it the ones that are missing that we have collected. There we go. But look at this, it just jumbled them all up. So basically we've got to sync them all up again. So what we could do is by clicking on the middle here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, that will line up some of them. And then the other ones we can line up simply by clicking on the symbols themselves. It will actually swap the opposite ones. So by clicking on that one, see, it swaps them and meets them up, and we can click that one, and that one, and that one. And now that they're all joined up, we get to collect the Saturn in the middle. Now we will go up a screen, up another screen, over to this side, and then zoom in on the suitcase. We've completely ignored that suitcase up until this point, but you see that the lock for the suitcase is a Saturn kind of shape, so we can take that Saturn we just collected and use that to open the briefcase. Inside, we can collect the can opener. Alright, move back a screen into the portal, down on this area here again, and we can use the can opener to open, I don't know what it's supposed to be, it's got a fish on it, and yet when we open it, it's just this like acid, basically. I don't know, I guess it must have been canned for a long time. If it was a fish in here, it looks like it's totally liquefied. Now don't ask me to explain this portion of it, but literally what we're supposed to do is click the can and then add it to this rusted gauntlet, basically, and it removes the rust. I don't know, man. That's just what you're supposed to do. And now we can collect the gauntlet. Okay, moving on. Now we can zoom in way back here. This is another area that we couldn't previously access. However, with the gauntlet, we can add it to the suit of armor, and that pulls down the pull chain, which opens up the gate, and we can now access the next area. Before we move on, though, we can still add to the suit of armor the helmet, and then the plume on top of the helmet. By doing that, it opens up the chest cavity, and we can collect something else here, a wrench. Okay, so now we can access a new area back here. Okay, a couple things we can do here. First, on this anvil here, if we zoom in on the anvil, there will be yet another map fragment. Click on that to pick it up and get out of there. And now here, we can zoom in on here. This looks like an elevator of some sort with a gear shaft, but it's not running. So what we're going to do is use our gear wheel, add it to the gear, and now it's spinning, but still nothing's happening because it's not connected to anything. So we can add our chain to it, and that will raise up the elevator, and by doing so, we now have access to this flag that we can pick up. Okay, there's actually quite a few other things that we can still do on the screen, but for now, we're going to move back into here. What we can do here first is a zoom in on this sword here. So there's all this treasure here, and then what looks like a rusty sword stuck in the pile. For now, we want to just pay attention to the fact that around the hilt of the sword is wrapped up this fishing line that we can collect. Alright, get off of here. If we zoom in on the waterfall, there's a cork up here that we can click on and collect. Click off of there. I think that's all we need to do for now. So now we're actually going to go back quite a ways. We're going to zoom back and back a screen, back a screen, back a screen. Out over here, I think this is going to be basically the last time we're going to be on this screen. We're going to zoom in on this weird thing that we also have been ignoring up until this point. I don't even know what this is supposed to be. Some sort of like a... Well, it's creating a little tornado, but I don't know what it is. Just a magical item of some kind. I don't even know how to describe it. But the point is we can use the cork now and stick it in the top to stop that twister. And as a result, this piece of paper that was floating around in it floats down, and it reveals to be a fourth and final map fragment. So now what we can do is zoom in on this board here. Originally, this is where we picked up that oily piece of paper that was nailed to it, but now there's nothing here. But we can use this now as a staging area to reassemble the 4 pieces of the map that we've been collecting. So now we can collect the map. Okay, let's go back a screen, back into the 3rd realm, back in here, and back in here, and back to where we were. Now we can zoom in on this treasure chest here. We can take the newly assembled map and place it on the top of the treasure chest, and then add to it the little flag to show where the treasure is, which results in an opening. Now inside there's just some, I guess, reeds, of some kind. We can't actually pick it up by clicking on it. We have to add to it the ribbon. So we click the ribbon and add that, and now we can pick it up, the reeds, as this sort of a bundle. And now, with that, we can go back a screen, go back a screen, go back a screen, up this way. Back now finally over to the stone dragon, and this is what we're going to do here. You can see on the right side here there's a flaming torch, not on the left side, but there is this sort of a metal loop here indicating that that's where another torch is supposed to go. So we can put our bundled reeds there and then use the matches on it to light it as the second missing torch. Now that both sides are lit, the stone dragon mouth opens up and we can collect a smiling mask. Alright, back a screen, back over this way, and if we zoom in on that bridge again now, we can actually fix the bridge because you can see the left side is sloping down because this side is sad, unlike the happy side on this side. So if we simply add the smiling mask to it, look at that, it magically lifts the left side up. So now the bridge is now safe to traverse. So now we can access a new area back here. Okay, lots to do on this screen. First, we're going to zoom in on this elevator here. We can't operate the elevator here. It looks like it's missing its controls. However, we can pick up these diamonds. All right, get off of here. Then we can zoom in over here. See, there's the trolley cart coming by. There's an object there, but we can't pick it up because it's not safe to do so because of the passing trolley car. However, we can pick up this trough. Okay. Get off of here. If we zoom in down here, there's an object underneath this just random piece of metal here, which we can remove by using the wrench on that nut. So we get rid of that, and underneath we can find the pickaxe. Pick up the mining pick. Alright. We zoom in on this area here. First we'll find there's a fishing hook sitting right there, so we can pick that up. And then we can use the pickaxe that we just acquired on the wall itself, because you can see there's gold coming out of the wall here. So pick off a little piece of it and pick up this little golden nugget here. Alright. I think that's all there is to do for here for now, so we will back up. What are we going to do next? Yes, back into this area and then back in here once more. Now zoom in on the waterfall and use the trough on the waterfall, and that redirects the water, which is going to pour over here and cause a red gem to fall down. We can zoom in on this area. We could have zoomed in on here before, but there wouldn't have been anything that we could have done because we would have just seen the red gems hanging up on the tree. But now that one has fallen down because of the water, we can now pick that up. So we got the red crystal. And then the other thing we can do here is these ants that look like the ants are also made out of crystals. They actually eat diamonds. So we can feed the diamonds to them. And now that they've eaten them, look at that, they grow bigger and they start to glow, actually. And now we can collect these glowing ants. And we can use that to solve the following puzzle, which is back up into this area here. You can't really hardly see it, but there's a clock in the background here that's showing a specific time on it. And that's important. We need to know what time the clock is showing because that's the solution to another puzzle. But we can't see it. So what we're going to do is use our glowing ants to light the way so that we can see. So we drop our ants right here. They burrow themselves into this crystal, which then sets off a chain reaction and lights all the other crystals and shows us the time on the clock. And plus we get to also collect this glowing crystal. Now it kicks us out of the screen, so we don't even really get to see what the time on the clock was, but it's not actually important because it basically gets solved for us automatically now that we've learned what the time is. Because if we go back a screen and zoom in on this area here, this is where we solve this puzzle here. We need to get inside here, but the doors here only open unless the correct time is showing on this clock. So basically all we got to do is adjust the time properly, and we do that simply by clicking on the clock 3 times. So click on it once, changes the time to that, but that's still not the right time. So we do it again, and then a third and final time. And now that's the appropriate time, so it opens it up. And all we do is with this kind of a lathe, I guess, we add the red crystal to it, and it refines the crystal into this crystal arrowhead. Okay, pick that up. Now we can go back a screen, and back a screen, and then back in here. And now we're finally going to explore this dragon guy here. Before we can gain access to the inside of the dragon, we need to solve another puzzle. It's simple in concept, but it can be a little bit tricky if you're not practiced with it. Basically, there's 5 tokens of each of these symbols here, the castle, the circle, labyrinth, and the butterfly. And all you got to do is just line them up horizontally in each of the corresponding aisles. So all you do is just click and hold down to hold a piece, and then click and drag it to a new square. It's sort of like a grid kind of system. You can't just let go on the middle of a space. It's got to be in the space, right? So in the grid. And so you just kind of got to shuffle them around until you get them all lined up. So we can move that out of the way and move this out of the way, and then we can put that in there. Let's see. Let's try this. We'll put that there and this like that. And we can move that around like that, and this down here like that. And then we can move that butterfly out of the way. We'll move this guy down here. Move this down, that guy out of the way there, this out of the way here, this out of the way, this out of the way, and then this guy all the way straight down. So now we've got one row. It doesn't get locked in though. We can still move those pieces if we want to, but we don't want to. Let's move this guy out of the way here. Move that castle over there. Let's see. We'll move this guy like that, and then this butterfly up like that, and then we'll move the castle down like this. Move this butterfly up like that. This castle here. This castle there. Let's see. Let's move this butterfly up like that, and then this one over like this. Then we can get the castle down here like that. This guy up here. And then like that, like that, like that. And then finish off the final row. And there you have it. Opens it up and look! Nothing! Absolutely nothing! You are so stupid! But no, actually, the one thing that's easy to overlook is this object actually right here. Is actually the body of the arrow. So if we add to it the crystal arrowhead, and then we can pick up the crystal arrow. And just like that, now we can zoom in on our dragon buddy and use the crystal arrow on the crystal to free him. Et voila.
Praise the crystals. You did it.
Not everything needs to be
Ashton
about
is
crystals,
no match
man.
for you. But which world is the villain sanctuary? No one knows. Thanks to our commercial ties with Queen Alison's home, I have a token that will take you to the Kingdom World. Go there and find Queen Alison.
Excellent. All right. So we get ourselves a new token. This time it's not given to us. We have to actually select it and pick it up. Okay, castle token. There we go. And that brings up the Amulet of Dreams. And we know what to do here. We just add the token to the amulet. Alright. Portal to a new world. Stay tuned till next week for us to take on the Kingdom World. That sounds fun.